The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Money Masters. And now, your Money Masters, Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes.
Welcome, folks. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien. We do appreciate you being here. And got combusted out here, folks. Let's take a look at it. You get the Dow off 500, Nasdaq's off 130, S&P's are down 58, gold's up 33. But you know what, folks? Okay, this is good. We're going to have a great show out here. Bottom line, this is what you have out here. Now, this is going to get interesting, Steve.
Volatility is back. Hasn't left.
Folks, this is what you have. You're at 258 million right now. This is the ultimate test coming into a bottom. That's my take on it. And what you have here is you have to break into 1.8 billion on the NYSE. You have to break into 3.1 in the Nasdaq, and it's not going to happen. That's the bottom line. We'll see. This is a classic.
Well, now what is nice, okay, is that we just had a downtick of 1655. Okay?
Yeah, 1,565.
1655.
Yeah, right.
So we just had that downtick within the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But because up for the first 30 minutes of trading, there wasn't really any major fear just yet.
So, folks, check this out. I looked at the DAX this morning. I looked at the FTSE this morning. I was showing you the earlier.
Right.
Now, so check it out. And this is where you got to wrap your head around this deal. The DAX, okay, if we bring up the DAX right now, I'm going to show you something. The DAX is, no doubt, has been leading all the way down. DAX is down $300 right now, okay?
Right.
Inside the DAX, however, when you actually take a look at it, if you look at this, I'm going to bring up one of the worst equities inside the DAX. Well, it's a bank. And when you take a look at it, what you're having is that, yeah, it's testing the bottom. It should be testing the bottom. And you know what, folks? It's testing the bottom out here with 86 million shares versus 147 million. Bottom line is that this is a test of those bottoms out here, and people are freaking, and it's a beautiful thing. But this is how bottoms are made. Now, the thing that gets intriguing here is that if, in fact, you test, and we're getting really close to testing this baby out, this is going to throw a different spin on it, meaning that do you have to get back into these areas again? Now, I suspect we are going to get back into them. But what you have here right now is that, let me just put the spies up for a second. I know this sounds insane, folks, but the bottom line is that there's no juice at all. And what you are looking at here, like the spies, we get 100 million. You're going into 700 billion. So the bottom line is, this, I'd be buying right now. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, so when I take a look at, the Dow, okay, now for me, okay, for some of my work.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, they hit combust.
Right. Well, yes, you had that, and we'll talk about that because there's a difference between when you're coming into Mercury conjunct Venus when you're at highs versus at lows. If you go back and you take a look at it, going back to 1998.
Okay.
Okay. So at least and today is where the moon is at apogee, which is on the elliptical piece. It's the furthest away from Earth.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
Yes.
But first, when I take a look at the Dow. For me, the area that's really most important is this 10,965, which we're through right now. We're 10,925 to 11,078. And so what I'd like to see is a rejection of that 10,965 today. Because what that would do is then what we've got is we've got a 0.618 retracement. Okay, just below it.
Yep.
So that's important. And the reason why I say that's important, folks, as long as the Dow can stay above 10,802, that's a 0.786. And what that would be setting up is the B to the C. Okay, so we'd have an ABC up.
Yeah.
I haven't mapped out where that takes us, but it probably takes us to that 11,931 area.
Right.
So to me, that's kind of like right now, today, tomorrow. That's kind of like the line in the sand.
Yes.
Would love to see it close above 10,965 today. So it's above that 0.618.
Right.
We're coming in tomorrow to Friday with some lighter volume towards the end of summer. That would be nice.
Well, the thing that there's no doubt, and what happens, folks, is this: is that I know, bottom line, if you're a longer-term investor and you're getting smoked, that's terrible. There's no two ways about that. The way that we came down, though, and the markets are all about energy, Because we went up 3 days, you know, a nice acceleration up, was 100 S&P points on the way up. This came down way too fast in order to bust these lows out. And, you know, if they do bust the lows out, we're really in trouble. But
right.
I don't see it. And, well, let's put it this way. If we bust the lows out on volume, we're in trouble.
Right.
Okay? You can bust them out, but there's no juice. And right now, folks, there's absolutely no juice. They got it going price-wise, but this is the fast price destruction coming into lows gives you the biggest acceleration going the opposite way.
Right.
You know? So this is.
So you I don't think my subscribers will mind too much if I share some of this.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went back. So we were taking a look. I think it was last Wednesday when we took a look at specifically at the Mercury conjunct Venus aspect. Okay. And we went back to 1998.
Yes.
And and what we really did was with today being apogee.
Right.
Because when you've got that aspect and you've got a lunar aspect that also, within a 2-day, let's say a 2-day orb, it has more power.
Okay.
And so what we did was we broke out the difference between the highs and lows because we weren't sure whether coming into this cycle we would be coming into a low or a high.
Right.
And obviously what's very clear is coming into yesterday, which was 1 day after that conjunction.
Okay.
We were coming into a high.
Right.
Now, if you go back to 1998, and there were like 34 different cycles. Now, there were only a handful of them where you were also at apogee and you were coming into highs. Okay. So the last one was on October 25th, 2010.
Okay.
Lasted for 2 days. That was the duration. If you go back to the prior one of that, which was December 28, 2004, that one lasted for 4 days. That one also had a full moon cycle as well.
Okay.
But if you go back before that, lasted for 5 days. Okay, November 2002. Go back to 1998, lasted for 5 days. So we may have this 2 to 5 day cycle here where it's continuing to make this
interesting, man.
To make this bottom. So what I was when we took a look at where the Qs were closing the day before yesterday, 2 days ago, and we took a look at when we got over them yesterday, even though it was on lighter volume. To me, it was signaling, maybe the pullback, we're going to have a pullback.
Okay.
But it's going to be more of an orderly, more reasonable or what have you.
Right.
And we still may. I mean, this thing here, because you've got the fear in there, and when we saw that downtick, you've got the fear in there.
Right.
So it's going to give us a, so these are the things that I'm trying to put together.
Right.
In order to be able to say, okay, so some of this is expected. Now, what you can't anticipate is just how large of a move. You're going to get a 500-point move.
And it's a monster.
In a day. But the reality is, 500-point moves can give you perhaps even more information.
It does give you more. Well, what I like is this, okay? I like the aspect that you gapped away. When you gap either up or down, folks, the market loses energy. And we gapped away, and we gapped away big time, okay? So that's the first part. The second part, well, actually, the first part, which is more important, is that when I went over the DAX, went over the FTSE, those are leading on the way down, and none of those equities. Like, see, when you look at headline news, and this is versus what is actually happening inside the indices, they actually are testing on dramatically lighter volume. So it's like, okay, good luck to you. We'll see where this shakes out today. But what this is saying to me, bottom line, is that, well, let's go to just look at the Qs for a second.
Yeah.
So if we bring the Qs up, what you have with the Qs, you're at 39 million. The 39 million is going into 193 million. It's not even close. You're going to get a rejection. You're already rejected to 50.72. It's going to reject it. People just got blown out of the water, and we're going to be right back up to those. The B point's going to get tested again, folks. It doesn't mean that it was a failure. There's no doubt about that. But what you did do is that you got into that swing, you had slightly more volume in the Qs, not against how you came down, but as we went over it. And what's really giving me the heads up here, now check this out, this is kind of wild. The small caps were actually the weakest. Right? But what also happened yesterday, if you take a look at the small caps actually did not go after the B point. And because they didn't go after the B point, folks, the small caps come back with lighter volume, and that is an indication, bottom line, is going to go right after the B point. If we take a look at the IWM, which is the 7183 area, okay? So the small caps already, you hit the 6633, it rejected that area. You get 23 million shares. versus 207 million.
Interesting, because it's even trades. It almost opened up at the 0.618.
No,
I mean, real close.
And exactly.
You know, which is nice. So you know what? So when it's taken again, just you know, looking at the at the action for the last couple of days, because we came up to that 0.382.
Right.
You know, of our last move down.
Right.
And as we've always discussed, you know, you've got people who are going to get off the elevator. You know, at that, especially because it was a nice bounce. You know, you went depending on where you got in, you were in the 10.8 area all the way up to 11.4.
Right.
You know, on the Dow. So a normal place to get off. But and they were traded above the points. We're trading about 10.960 and 10.965 is that area that I'm kind of looking at.
Yes.
But and folks, what we don't want is we don't want to see it break the 786. We'd like to see it stay right here in that 618 because it still gives us the ABC up. You know, as opposed to setting up now a consolidation range.
That's right. That's
you know,
right.
so we'd rather be able to go up towards those highs, towards the 11.9 to 12 area.
Well, you know, and folks, if we just switch gears for a second, go over to gold. If you want to see something that's still bizarre, you know, gold hits all-time highs here, and you can see the equities can't do it. Okay, gold's up 31 bucks. You're at 1825. The strongest gold equity out there, no doubt, is the only one that is at its highs is Rheingold Resources, GOLD. If you take a look at Rheingold, what you have out here, we put that back to 09. This no doubt is the one with the juice. The high out there in Rheingold Resources is 106.35. That high was reached in May of 2010, and right now it hit the 106.66 today. You know, so it's pretty wild. I mean, if you go to Gold Corp, bottom line, this is what's blowing people's minds, man. I mean, the thing that's amazing is that our south picture. We got gold right now at $1,825.
Yeah.
And the highs that were generated, and even the Gold Corp, basically back in April. You know, so the disconnect is absolutely huge, folks. And I know for a fact the disconnect inside precious metal funds are really blown out. But the bottom line is that what you're going to see out here, you're going to see, well, we have the volatility, but trading-wise, it's a field day out here. And, you know, I know it's tough if you haven't been around markets like this, but I like to see tests that are dramatic like this.
Yeah, so here's a day where we've got gold up, right? And if you go over the dollar index, what do we have going on with the dollar index? The dollar is up.
That's right.
You know, and folks, you know, we've been taking a look, at least on my charts, I've been taking a look at the dollar index on a weekly basis on this little cone shape that it's got going back from the highs in the June of 2010 area. And what's interesting, as you draw that trend line, you can see how we just keep bouncing off of it. Yesterday, came down, tested it, closed right on it.
Right.
You know, this morning, you know, catapulted off of it. So we've got the dollar up, we've got gold up.
Wild thing. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien, folks. The Dow's down to 446, Nasdaq's off 116, S&Ps are off 49. If we go overseas and we take a look at overseas, you have the FTSE off 4.5, the DAX is off 6.5. We're going to be right back, folks.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today. Click Investments Newsletters and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Is the fast-moving investment world challenging the way you think about managing risk and return? You don't have to go it alone. Directions Alternative Strategy Funds feature built-in tactical management to help you find clarity for the path ahead. Direction Funds. I'm with X. To learn more about Directions Alternative Strategy Funds, please visit TFNN.com and click on the Direction Funds banner or call 877-434-9363. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other information about Direction Funds. The prospectus should be read carefully before investing. To obtain a prospectus, go to directionfunds.com. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. The use of leverage by a mutual fund increases the risk to the fund. The more a fund invests in leverage instruments, the more leverage will magnify gains or losses on those investments. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC. Are you looking for some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com. It's the only click you need to make.
TFNN introduces Tiger TV. Tiger TV brings you video content to help you succeed in the financial markets and beyond. Investors and traders can get in-depth information, news, commentary, and education for investing and trading equities, options, commodities, forex, futures, and more. Just go to TFNN.com and click Tiger TV and select your favorite channel from the carousel on the left. Grab a popcorn and get ready for Tiger TV, a great new service from TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for being with us. We have the Dow right now off 442, NASDAQ off 112, S&Ps are off 49. Big Blue is down $9. You get 3M off 294. Hewlett Packard's down 220. Caterpillar's off 486. So you had a great workshop last night.
Absolutely. Really great workshop, and thank you so much for all you folks that attended. It was, had a nice attendance.
Yes, big time. Yeah, a lot of people.
And we covered a lot in 30 minutes. It's amazing. When we do these shows,
right.
Remember when I first did my first show, it was like an hour. How am I gonna last for an hour? How am I gonna have enough to talk about or what have you? Now, they just go by and
fly.
They really do. Well, when you're doing a 30-minute webinar and you're trying to really get, a lot of information in there, that was a lot to cover. Now, what we've done is we're going to have it posted on the website.
Oh, good.
On one of the channels.
On
Channel 5. So it'll be on Channel 5 later on today. So for any of you folks that didn't get a chance,
it's
on now. It's on now. Okay. So for any of you folks that didn't get a chance to check it out, it's a great 30 minutes. You're going to get a really terrific education. You should go in there and check it out. And here's how, here's kind of like the measure that we can use whether or not the information is good. Because, we can watch everybody as they're logging in. Right? So we know, we can see when folks are logging in. And most people got there on time. We started it, just out of respect for everybody, started like about 6:32, 6:33.
Yes.
And got going. And most people were on there. But what was great was that, nobody really dropped off. In fact, even when we went to the Q&A period, after we gave away 3 ounces of silver, Great Panther, so we got to thank Great Panther for that.
Right.
And, there were like 6 to 7 people that dropped off when we went to the Q&A. That was it. Out of the number of folks that we had in attendance, that was nothing.
That's huge.
And, and so it really was great. And, I encourage folks to go ahead and send me an email if they had some questions. I know I got a few of them. I was pretty pooped last night. It's like, okay, I'm done, I'm burned, I need to recharge.
Because these workshops, folks, take a long time to put together. It might be a half-hour workshop, but the reality is that there's a good 4 or 5 hours that go into it.
Absolutely.
Just to get it correct, so that the delivery can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So it was great, and love doing it. And it's always great to do it when you see the type of response and you see the information that we pushed out there for folks. So it's really good, really good. I've got the ES Mini up, which is really kind of which is great. If you follow us on go to channel 1 on Tiger TV, and even though maybe it's a little bit hard to read the screen right now, when you see the patterns that are in there, they're really great to follow. So I've got this on just a 10-minute chart, and what I wanted to show was because while we've been doing our show, we showed the Gartley pattern that completed sometime around 8 in the morning on August the 11th. And what we showed about that Gartley pattern is many times that sets up the new C point. So the B to the C point, if you will, for an ABC up. Now, here's the interesting thing. That projection came out at 12:05:24. So that was an A to B equals C to D.
Okay.
Now, when we were on the show yesterday, when we started our show around 9, well, it was maybe a little bit afterwards, where the ES Mini got up to was 12:06:50, somewhere right around in that range. So not too bad to be off by a buck.
Right.
Especially when we started off in the 1100 area.
Exactly.
That's pretty nice. Now, what it also did, though, at the top there, was it made a butterfly pattern. Now, it didn't make a perfect butterfly, but a good enough butterfly.
Right.
It was a 1 to 1.272 ABC, but the extension from the X point, which is right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon on August 15th, it wasn't a full 1.272, but close enough. It was close enough. Now, when you have those butterflies, many times what you'll do is you'll do if you do a 1.272 expansion on the way up, you'll do 1.272 expansion on the way down. Well, what this thing has actually done, this thing came down all the way to the 2.618 of that, which is 1130. Now, if we go back to where we first made that Gartley pattern, what we've done is we've come back almost to the 0.618 area, on the ES Mini. So it's really anyways, I just want to be able to show that to folks because we've got folks out there that are, reading The Art of Timing the Trade. They're just simply trying to, understand how these Gartley and these butterfly patterns work. And I just wanted to really just be able to point that out to folks.
And, you take that correlation, folks, and you put it right into the SPY. This is what you have. So the SPY got to a low of 113.68. It's going into 718 million shares.
Yeah.
You got $1.34 right now. And what you're going to see, you're going to see a rejection. And it's going to be wild watching how this shakes out because inside the NYSE right now, this is what you have. The NYSE has only done 350 million shares, folks. That's a joke. That's an absolute joke. We're going into 1.8 billion. And we're talking about coming into that area, and we've already done an hour in the market. The first hour in the market with huge volatility on the way down.
Yeah.
That should be pushing 700 million right now. If this thing's going to blow away. It's a beautiful thing. Dow's down 437. Nasdaq off $110. S&Ps are up 48. Gold's up 31. Bonds are up 2.5 points. So bottom line is that we'll be right back and talk about
folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in the equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com, under newsletter, hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
Win free silver all summer long during our Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway.
And it's my very great pleasure to announce our winner in the Great Panther Silver Coin Giveaway, Patricia Keith of Framingham, Massachusetts. Patricia, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Are you the kind of person that's lucky that wins a lot of things in life or not?
Yeah, I do.
You do? What do you think you attribute this luck to? Is it good living or what?
Positive thinking, yeah.
That is the key. Did you ever think you would win the Great Panther Silver Coin?
No, I didn't, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And how long have you listened to TFNN?
Oh my gosh, 5 years.
Through Labor Day, TFNN will hold a drawing once a day, 5 days a week, business days only. One lucky entrant will receive one of these beautiful coins. Winning one of these extraordinary coins could not be easier. There's no contest and no gimmicks. Go to the front page of TFNN.com for more information. Win free silver all summer long during our Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower your volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angelo O'Brien, financial advisor and certified financial planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading in the gold market. If you're an investor in gold or any of the gold mining equities, this newsletter is an essential tool that can help you become a better trader in the gold market. The Gold Report comes out every Monday with complete coverage of the entire gold market, including the XAU, HUI, the dollar, the bond, the rand, as well as more than 35 different mining equities. For the low price of $150, you will receive 13 weeks of the Gold Report, or you can order up to a full year for under $500. If you'd like to find out more about the Gold Report, log on to tfnn.com, or for more information, call our office at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the Dow right now off 449, Nasdaq's off 111, S&Ps are off 49. So let's get inside a few of these indices. First, we'll go inside the NDX 100. So inside the NDX 100, the leaders out there, if you have any leaders at all, you get O'Reilly Automotive, Amgen, Whole Foods, and Warner Chilcott. The laggards, Net Appliance, Cognizant Technology, Seagate, and Infosys. Now, what I like to do is this. I like to go, on a day like today, I like to go to the weakest stocks. Yeah. And you're not going to buy them. Right. But what you do, folks, is you want to see what they're doing. Right. So they see the context, and that separates the top line number from exactly what is bringing it down. Yeah. So let's go to the weakest one. The weakest one is Infosys. It's INFY. It's down 10% right now, $5. Okay, so check it out. It's breaking the 52.75. It looks like it's going to break it with volume, meaning the B point. So the next thing you do is you say, okay, give me the price projection on that. So you go A point is 63, B point is 52. You get $9 off 55, and ends on to 45. You're at 48.50. Now, bring it back to 2010. Actually, I'm going to bring it back to 29 and see what you're going into. We take a look and we say, okay, what are we going into? Okay, so what we're going into is, sure enough, last time, if you want to see, folks, bottom line, how when you're going up, that markets like to go back to the last day with volume. Well, you know what? This little baby at the top, isn't it sick?
No, it is.
So when you see this, folks, it's October of 09. The top of October 09 is 49. The bottom is 46.
Yeah.
Bottom line is that the ABC is 46, right? So that stock there is the weakest inside the NDX 100. Now that tells me a whole bunch. That tells me that, okay, that's going down where it should go. That's also telling me that if that's the weak, well, let's go look at the second weakest stock. Because what I'm saying specifically, folks, that you're going to bounce out of here, okay? And it's still a short term, but this isn't not going to blow out bottoms, okay? So let's go. Actually, look at Seagate Technology. That's down another 10%, okay? What's Seagate doing? Seagate's coming into the lows. The last low out here, you had 5.3 million. You're doing that with 10 million. We go take a look, and we put this back, and we get it to a weekly basis. Bottom line, all Seagate's doing, now this gets really interesting, is that she's going to break that. She's going to be going into her lows. She's going into her lows, but she's going to need a lot more volume on a weekly basis to blow it apart.
Yeah, but she's been back in that August 2010 time frame here for a few days.
That's right, no doubt. Now,
unlike volume.
Unlike volume. We get a question in here. You got, do you think that we'll see a large intraday reversal? Now, yesterday, unfortunately, we don't know what our OEX trader did out here, but I can tell you, folks, when we were talking about, if you were listening yesterday, we were talking about the OEX, and the bottom line is that, as I said to Steve, I've probably done close to 1 million of these contracts, and I was suggesting that you take all the money off the table and get your principal back. And the reason being is that, number one, you don't get accelerations up like the way that we did. Number two, the OEX, folks, the way the OEX moves is this. Every 2 S&P points is 1 OEX point.
Right.
Every 10 contracts is 1,000 shares. So the bottom line, going into option expiration, when you're in the money big time, you got to take your principal off. Bottom line is, will you get a bounce coming into tomorrow? Yeah, I think you will. But the fact of the matter is, you didn't take any money off the table. Not taking any money off the table, I would answer that question saying you better not be buying more here because you'll blow your brains out. I mean, that is not the way to do it, man. The way to do it on a money management aspect is that if you took the money, then great. You could have bought as many as you wanted right now. We're going to be right back.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today. Click Investments Newsletters and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Studies show that 10,000 hours is what it takes to achieve outstanding results, unless you use the power of leverage. The power of leverage, folks, is key to attaining outstanding success in your trading and investing. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, and author of Mastering Probability, a daily trading and investment newsletter. Let me take your trading to a new level, a whole new level. Let me teach you the secrets that the real money masters use each and every day to produce consistent financial results. On top of that, I'll transform your life in ways you never thought imaginable. You'll overcome hurdles like an Olympian. Here's the beauty. I'm so certain that I'll transform your life. I'm giving you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Time, folks, something you'll never get back. The time is now to take action. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and order Mastering Probability. It'll change your life forever. At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you know, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
TFNN introduces Tiger TV. Tiger TV brings you video content to help you succeed in the financial markets and beyond. Investors and traders can get in-depth information, news, commentary, and education for investing and trading equities, options, commodities, forex, futures, and more. Just go to TFNN.com and click Tiger TV and select your favorite channel from the carousel on the left. Grab a popcorn and get ready for Tiger TV, a great new service from TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. You get the Dow right now down 487. Nasdaq's off $1.21. And let's just go look at percentage-wise what you have here. This is what you have across the board, folks. The Dow's down 4 0.2%. The S&Ps are off 4.5. The Nasdaq Composite is down 4.8. You get the DAX in Germany off 5. We get the FTSE off 4. And WFM. So, you know, inside the Nasdaq 100, folks, one of the strongest equities out there, not that it's strong, they're all red, is Whole Foods, okay? Now, that's important in the context that Steve and I were just talking. I want to show you something. I'm going to go over, if you want to see how the world and the equities in the world work the same, you know, Whole Foods is the strongest one, the NDX 100 now. So watch this. We'll go over to the FTSE. You're looking at the FTSE right here. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the FTSE. And when you take a look at it, the strongest stock... Amazing. The only stock, by the way, folks, that is green almost in the world right now is Rango Resources. That is the strongest one out there. But if you go inside the FTSE, sure enough, what you're going to find is that you're going to find another food companies. Okay, you know, this one here is Associated British Foods. And I was looking at this morning, and I said, it's really interesting. Isn't that wild? Yeah. So what happens, what I want you to get out of this, folks, is this, is that the amount of information that can be gleaned out of markets before our market opens is extraordinary. And, you know, depending on where you are in understanding how markets move, what you want to do is this. You bite off one piece at a time. If I've found anything, you know, I've been doing this a long time now, but I remember when, you know, just even at the beginning, I said, man, how can you tackle these things at once? Yeah. And the key, folks, is tackle one at a time and get an understanding of that vehicle, and then you move on to the next vehicle, and the next vehicle, and the next vehicle. But what you absolutely, you know, what I suggest that you want to do is pay attention to, once you have a system that you're happy with, right, and you're comfortable with, that system better work in all markets at all times. You know, because then you know that you have something. Or just have different systems for different markets. Well, I wouldn't go along with that. Yeah. The reason I wouldn't go along with that is that the dynamics, meaning, I would say, you know, but that it should work the same. You know, the reason it should work the same is that they're all the same markets. Now, yeah. So what is interesting, though, is, you know, Whole Foods, right? Yes. You know, which many people nickname as Whole Paycheck. You know, one of my favorite stores to go into. Yes. You know, great store. Right. Absolutely. But certainly you're paying a premium, you know, for the stuff that they've got in there. That's right. But, you know, in this economy, right, we were taking a look at, while we were during the break, all of the bad news stories that were on Tom's Bloomberg. You should see this. You know, because it's nothing but bad news, you know, one after another, whether it's employment, which we all know. I mean, there's no secret there that, you know, unemployment is, you know, it's not going anywhere. That's right. That's right.
In the last week or the last 30 days, what companies have been out there waving their arms saying, we're hiring, we're hiring, we're hiring?
That's right. And the consumer prices went up more than forecast. Energy, food costs went up. Let's see, the cost of living in the U.S. climbed in July by the most in 4 months. So that's one of the headlines out here. The next headlines out here is, let's see, Philadelphia factory index falls minus 30, the lowest since March of 2009. I know this is sick, folks, okay, but this is the type of deals that you like to see when it's Armageddon, because you know what, folks, the end of the world is never here. Okay?
It's funny you say the Armageddon. Right. I was watching. Do you like that movie? You ever watch that movie? Armageddon is the movie. I think Bruce Willis is in it. That we've got an asteroid, right?
Yeah,
got an asteroid.
I love that movie.
Okay, yeah. So it was
Tom Cruise, isn't it?
No, I don't think. No,
is it Bruce Willis or his kid? Okay,
yeah,
his child. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so got the asteroid coming at us, and we got two space shuttles going up, to land on the asteroid or what have you. Now, one of my favorite scenes in that movie. There's a line where a line in it where they're just getting ready to take off, and the line goes something like this. One of the guys that's going with Bruce looks over to him and says, "Do you realize we're sitting on 4 million pounds of fuel,
right?
With 270 and a nuclear bomb attached to us, with 270,000 parts that all went to the lowest bidder."
Oh my God!
And now the reason that one line is so it sticks with me so much is because back in the 80s, I started a division of a publicly held microcomputer company in Florida. We turned that into, in 5 years, we went from $0 to $100 million in sales annually.
Wow.
So pretty much most businesses in Florida, most companies were our customers. Well, one of the customers was NASA, or NASA was looking at it. Now, this is a time when you had IBM, Apple, and Compaq were the primary computers that were out there.
Yes.
But you had these things that we called clones.
Right.
That would be like Dell computers or so forth. That just started coming out. Most of those were coming from overseas, and the parts were somewhat questionable.
Right.
Well, you had NASA buying all that stuff because of the low price, so going to the low bidder.
Okay.
Well, they had us come in there to do an analysis. Well, part of that analysis, we brought in, the big CEO. There were about 7 of us that went over to NASA. They gave us the presidential VIP gold tour.
Yes.
Which meant we could touch the space shuttle. Now, here's the thing. This was at the time, so this is back in the 80s. This was at the time when the space shuttles were going off. You folks, you might remember when the tiles were falling off.
Yes.
And they were trying to, and it was because of condensation was the issue. And they were trying to figure out what to do. So, in your mind, you've got NASA as this high-tech company, right? Well, the real story was, after the first tiles came up, somebody had the idea and said, why don't we spray this thing with Scotchgard?
Oh, my God.
They went and hit every store, every grocery store in Titusville, and, yep.
That's a scandal.
Is it? And they're spraying it with Scotchgard. True story. True story.
Sick.
Now we were taking a look at their computers. Now the computers that actually were powering the space shuttle at the time were called ModComp computers, ModComp 64. We had way more power than any other computer that we had, but they had so much software that they didn't rewrite it at that time.
Okay.
So it really was it was the most amazing. I mean, I've got stories because it was a whole day, and we all walked out of there. We drove out of there. We all looked at each other and said, "Are you serious?"
That's sick.
Oh, no, I love NASA. I wish we hadn't ended the program. That's a different story.
Right.
Okay, so
right. I know.
But the stories behind the scenes are always amazing.
God. You stay right there, folks. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien. We're going to be coming back. You get the Dow at 447. Nasdaq's up $1.15. S&Ps are up 49. Gold's up 29. We're going to be right back.
New York Stock Exchanges under the symbol GBG.
Looking for some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618 88888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com. It's the only click you need to make.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio. Therefore, we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
You've heard Bud Rolfs give his expert technical analysis of the stock market on the radio. Now you can have his superior trading advice and his best stock picks delivered right to your desktop every week with his newsletter, The Torch. Using his own trademarked Warpath trading system, Bud will help you to increase your odds of making and saving money in the markets with powerful stock selection, stock analysis, and trading plan strategies. Published every Monday morning, each issue of The Torch features full-color charts in an easy-to-follow format. You will also receive not only the big picture of what's going on in the major markets and critical sectors, but also featured stock picks with complete trading plans and technical setups, as well as the Subscribers Corner, where Bud analyzes stocks submitted by subscribers. Visit TFNN.com today and receive your 2-week free trial of The Torch. That's a $75 value. Sign up now and make sure you receive all the great market analysis and winning trade ideas in every action-packed issue of The Torch from Bud Rolfs.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is for sale at Amazon.com for only $18.40.
Welcome back, folks. And if you're watching Tiger TV, folks, I want to show you, we know on the daily it's not going to have the juice to bang these numbers out. But if you want to see on the intraday exactly what the NDX 100 did, the acceleration down at 10 a.m. So the index got to, the Qs got to 50.72. You did 11 million shares. Well, that 11 million shares, folks, was going into the lows from the 9th. And that was 16 million shares. What you're going to see is that now you're going to see it building some cause. Once the NDX or the Qs get up another 14 cents, you're going to see a little fast acceleration here. The reason I'm saying that is that the high of that lower bar today is 51.47. So
amazing.
It is amazing. And listen, I'm telling you, when you take a look at these, pay attention to them because they love to come into them. If we take a look at the small caps, what you have with the small caps, the IWM came in with 8.7 million. Now this ain't even close. That was going into 15 million. You go take a look at we'll do the S&P, because what you want now is you want harmony. And harmony specifically would be each one of them come in there, folks. They come in there with lighter volume and you got action. The S&P came into it with, let's see.
Didn't even get down there.
37 million versus 54 million. And we'll do the DIA. And so, bottom line is that, yeah, the numbers look huge. They are huge. We'll see where this shakes out. But let's see. So if I bring it up to 9, and we take a look at 9, what you have there is that's
still didn't make it all the way down.
That's 1.7, yeah, in 2.6, and they didn't make them down. So it's going to be pretty wild, no doubt.
So we got the board governors, right, that are kind of at odds with each other a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Right.
I think the report was, that I was reading was that I forget who the dissenters are. Where they're out of, but talking about how
it's Fisher, it's the Posner, and one other one, right? Yeah.
But just talking about how they think that what Bernanke's just trying to do is prop up the market with his
right.
And well, what do you think he was trying to do in March of '09? you know, in November 2008 and so forth. I mean, that's,
absolutely.
you know, so
right.
that, you know, you guys were there then too.
Well,
so,
the ironic part about it is that that's all Federal Reserve is about anyway. I mean,
so now that's not our role.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's not even close. Because the Federal Reserve, folks, is always about just pushing cash into the marketplace for banks. That's what it comes down to. And if you're worrying that, it's funny, in the Wall Street Journal today, you get the front page story about the European banks not having money. Bottom line is that the not having money, they haven't had any money, period. None of the banks have any money.
Yeah.
They always don't have any money.
Well, they got money. It's funny money.
Yeah, well, no, they don't have any funny money left either.
Well,
that's liquidity cash.
Well, which is why a month or 2 months ago I wanted to start really taking a look at each of the banks, trying to go through their SEC filings just to understand what their real working capital position is. What's it today versus back in 2008, 2009, just to see, I understand they might be flush with cash, but the question is, what are their current liabilities? What are the liabilities behind it? What's really the net working capital, where they can actually loan money out. Because, you got all the stories out there, they know they're not loaning money. Well, nobody's really saying, hey, you know what, the working capital was $2 billion, now it's $4 billion. Maybe they don't even have enough money to lend.
No, they
Which
don't.
is not a story that they're going to go out and lead with. But if somebody did some homework.
That's right.
And that's what I don't know. I never trust the first story or headline that I read out. What's underneath the covers?
Their problem is that they don't even have money to operate.
Yeah, well.
Folks, you stay right there because, it's a Thursday.
That's right.
Your man Steve Rhodes is going to stay right with you.
That's right.
And then we get Larry Pesavento coming up all the way from Hong Kong, Ken Shreve this afternoon, and then I'm 4 to 6. Thanks so much, folks. Have a great one. Have a safe one.